In my early 20s, I started my first business, a social media marketing agency. And back then, I truly believed that once I hit a certain number, once I made enough each month that I could work from anywhere and live anywhere I wanted, that I feel content, that I'd finally arrived. But here's the thing, when I reached that point, something hit me that I didn't see coming. I realized I'd spent all this time climbing a mountain, but I was now standing at the top, alone. I'd built the freedom, but I hadn't built the community. And without people to share it with, the freedom I'd worked so hard for felt empty. My days were productive, but meaningless. My work had momentum, but no purpose. This is the story of how I changed that. How a lonely young entrepreneur found real connection, discovered deeper meaning, and finally realized what this journey is actually about. I'm going to be telling this story through the lens of my year in Bali, a year that changed everything. Let me take you back to Lombok 2023. I was traveling through Indonesia, chasing good waves, and I randomly came across this cool guy named Denis. We ended up sharing a boat ride to one of the surf spots, and we started talking about surfing, life, and business. And pretty quickly, I realized we had a lot in common. He told me he was working at an agency, but what he really wanted to do was to go all in on building his own thing. The conversation sparked something, a connection, a friendship that felt like it had a purpose. And fast forward to early 2024, we ended up meeting again in Lombok, but this time it was more intentional. We went to co-working spots, surfed, trained, and held each other accountable. And I think we both realized something. Doing this journey with someone who's just as driven, just as passionate about living fully, it actually changes everything. And that's when we made the call. Let's do this properly. So, a few months later, we flew to Portugal, and we locked ourselves in an Airbnb for 3 months with no distractions, only to grow our business, surf, do fitness, and really push each other. But this wasn't just about productivity and having business growth. We surfed Portugal's best waves, hit the gym daily, and even got to travel around and check out Madeira. It was one of those experiences where you end up thinking, is this how life is supposed to feel? So one day we looked at each other and said, let's do it again, but let's do it in Indo. So we booked an Airbnb, packed our surfboards, and prepared ourselves for a period of very intentional and focused work on our businesses, ourselves, and our hobbies. Going into 2025, I knew one thing. I wanted this year to be intentional, not just the sake for productivity or results, but to actually increase the probability that I'd end up living the life I want to live. So I started getting radically clear, not just about what I wanted to do, but about the things that I did not want to do. On the flight to Bali, I opened up my notes, and I wrote down everything I did not want to achieve. A list of anti-goals. Not just the obvious distractions, but the small traps that would slowly pull me off course. That one exercise created instant clarity. I saw all the ways I could self-sabotage, and I realized that if I want to build a meaningful life, I need to be just as intentional about what to say no to as I am about what to say yes to. Now next, I wrote a letter from my future self from 2026 to my current 2025 self. I wrote down the things I had achieved, what my days looked like, and how my business looked like. But more importantly, I wrote down how it felt to live in that future. I tapped into it. I could see it. I could feel it. And I thought I was done. But then something hit me. A phrase came to mind. The pyramid of peak performance and self-mastery. I didn't overthink it. I just started writing. I've always had this quiet feeling that I was meant for something more. That I'm here to contribute in a big way. And this idea, the pyramid, it just made sense to me. A structure that didn't just push me towards success, but helped me live with clarity, depth, and purpose. It wasn't about optimizing for output. It was about building a system where peak performance becomes the byproduct of living in alignment. At the bottom of the pyramid, I wrote connection. Without deep human connection, I lose the desire to create and contribute. If I don't feel seen, or if I'm not seeing others, I can't access the empathetic drive to share what I know and help others grow. Sharing can be very uncomfortable, so connection requires honesty, openness, and the strength to be vulnerable. And number 2 is reflection. Without reflection, life turns into a messy blur of moments and emotions. The ability to intentionally break things down, to learn from what happened and extract meaning, that's what creates growth. Reflection protects me from drifting. It helps me think clearer, act wiser, and stay on track with what actually matters. Number 3 is sleep. I am my mind, and everything that happens inside of it depends on the quality of its state. I can't always control my mood or my thoughts, but I can control my sleep. The best I've ever felt, the clearest I've ever thought, and the most creative I've ever been has always come after good sleep. And number 4 is fun. What is the point if I'm not having fun? Fun isn't a guilty pleasure, it's a requirement. And it doesn't just happen, it has to be designed into my life. That means saying yes to a surf trip, going on the hike, or grabbing a beer with a friend. This is what makes it all worth it. And this is what separates toxic self-improvement from true self-mastery. From there, the rest just stacks naturally. At level 2, we have family, gratitude, health, and friends. These are the things that start to flourish when the foundation is in place. Family relations deepen, gratitude shows up automatically, health becomes effortless, and friendships evolve into real community. At level 3, we have perspective and belief. I now have the perspective to zoom out and see what truly matters. And I have the belief in myself, my vision, and what I'm capable of, not because of ego, but because I've built the mental and emotional foundation to hold it. Then at level 4, I have confidence and clarity. From belief, I gain confidence, because I trust myself and I know I'm supported. And clarity, because I know what to focus on and what to let go of. Then at level 5, this all leads to creativity and execution. From that place, ideas flow. They come easily because I'm not in survival mode anymore. I'm expansive. I don't just dream, I execute. I follow through because I believe in what I'm building, and I'm clear on how to bring it to life. Then at the very top of the pyramid, where everything comes together, it's peak performance and self-mastery. But here's the thing, it doesn't feel like pushing, it doesn't feel like hustle. Self-mastery to me feels like play. It feels like that morning when I was in Portugal, driving to the beach to surf with a good song and coffee in hand, and realizing that I'm living 100% aligned with how I used to dream life could be. It feels like sun in my coffee, that quiet morning in Lombok, sitting at breakfast, realizing that despite all of my goals and ambitions, this small moment is enough in itself. It's seeing the beauty in the small things, the kind of beauty that the sleep-deprived, disconnected, and unreflective version of myself would be blind to. And when I have all of this, I know I'm on my path. Let me tell you about one of the most inspiring people I met in Bali this year. This is Gleb. I first met Gleb at the gym. Within minutes, we were in deep conversations about business, surfing, mindset, and life. From day one, I could tell we were wired the same. Ambitious, hungry, and fully alive. What Gleb has taught me more than anything is the power of high agency. He doesn't wait for opportunities, he creates them. Whether it's building his own AI agency, chasing a new idea, or paddling into a heavy set to Uluwatu, Gleb owns his decisions and he leans into discomfort. And one of the things I admire the most, he creates without hesitation. He'll shoot content in public without flinching, because to him, the mission matters more than fear. And in the water, he does not hesitate. When a bomb sets come through, Gleb is on it. Gleb is the kind of friend who makes you level up, while still making it ridiculously fun. He's that rare mix of ambition, honesty, and just pure stoke. Now to prove my point, let me take you to a moment that says it all. It started with a message from Gleb late at night in the middle of the week. He sent me a story from Daniel Dalen, who was hosting a running event the next morning in Canggu. And to make it, I would have to wake up before 5 in the morning the next day to drive all the way from Uluwatu to Canggu. And my first reaction was that that's just too much effort. But then I remembered, I've made a commitment to put myself in rooms with people I admire. People who are growing, ambitious, and further along than me. And then I thought about something Gleb once told me he always used as a rule for his decision making. When you have a decision in front of you, always ask yourself, what would make the better story? And that stuck with me. And sitting in my bed that night, I asked myself the same thing. And the answer was obvious. I set my alarm for 4 a.m., filled my water bottle, and made the drive. That one choice led to inspiration, new connections, and a memory I'll never forget. And none of it would have happened without Gleb. So come along, I'll show you the day me and Gleb spent chasing growth in the way only Bali allows.
Good job showing up, man.
Yeah, I saw it.
Ja, want they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
This place is vibrate. It's electrified. So where are you from? I'm from Russia, but I live here in Bali. Nice. So I just started a YouTube channel like 3 months ago. I think it's going to be my 12th video, and I really get a lot of inspiration from you. So what would be your advice, like to me and also the people who are watching? Like maybe I think you should show up, and I was like, what would you recommend also to yourself like a year ago for someone who just starts out on YouTube?
So the thing is, no one really cares about what you've built or what you're building. They care about, learning from you and like being taken on this journey with you. So the way I look at building a brand is the things you do, who you are, is a tool for you to build your own personal brand on top of. So the learnings that you go through, the things that you learn, the things that you share, and the value that you give people while doing what you're doing is more valuable and important to those watching than what it is that you're building. Because the truth is, no one fucking cares about what you're building. So if you just take people along the ride and give them all the learnings and basically the same benefit of you building that actual thing, that's where the magic happens. Because a lot of people tend to talk about what they have done versus showing what they are doing. Exactly. So I got into surfing because of my girl. So I've been surfing for 2-3 months now. We're going pretty well.
It's been just like good to
Was it worth driving from Uluwatu?
It was worth it. I was afraid you weren't going to show up.
Man, when I say something, I will do
This
it.
guy is a man of his word. No, it was good. It's a little adventure like Monday morning, get out there, 100 kilometers an hour, just going on the main road, just going crazy.
But I thought that you won't come because you are way more committed than me. You're like, okay, I have my plan for Monday, I will grind or I will do some work.
Yeah.
I'm not like this, I'm more like, okay, let's cancel all the plans for Monday because I plan to also work from like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I thought, no, Ole will not change his plans, but you did.
Yeah, dude. I changed my mind. I was like, fuck it, let's go. Let's go. Like, put yourself in situations where you can make connections and just have more opportunity. It would be stupid to be in Bali and like not do this. I would hate myself if I were like back home in Norway and then looking back like, I should have gone and done these networking things in Bali. Like, it just makes sense.
Wise word or wise man? Come on, leaving the meetup.
I mean, this was so worth it. You wake up early, but meeting all these people, seeing everything that they're working on, and seeing the passion and feeling the ambition.
Yeah.
Man, it was so good.
Energizing.
Yeah, and for me, this is also so cool. Like, I want to build a community, and now I even see like the value and what it actually feels like when you have what Daniel has built. And it's so cool, man. So inspiring.
Yeah. Now let's go back to work.
It's such a good feeling to just surround yourself with people are on a similar path. They understand like your passion and your entrepreneurial drive, and being in the process of trying to build my own community it's really a cool experience. And now we're gonna go work for a bit, and then we're gonna see you, bro. Bye.
So, one of the questions I had from a subscriber is how to get like location freedom when you build a business and you work remotely in general. And you are one of the good examples of that. So, what would be your principles for location freedom? Like where it starts, where it finishes?
Yeah, so location freedom, of course you want to sell something or do something that can be done from anywhere in the world. So if you haven't started a business yet, you would have to start with something that you can do online fully. For me, that became Facebook ad services, just naturally because I had some experience in that. I think it's really key to know what you're building towards. So make sure that you set the expectations if you start working with clients, and you know that at some point you want to go and live in a different time zone, then you need to already be thinking about these things. So for me, when I started actually traveling around with my business, there was a little bit of a transition period where I didn't exactly know how to deal with the time zone change and those kind of things. So just setting that expectation with the clients early on, and also understanding that you don't want to add on things to your service like in-person shoots or stuff like this, because this is not something you can continue to do, so you don't want to be reliant on it. And that's, for me, that's been key, just intentionally structuring the business in a fully remote way.
When it comes to location freedom, you also need to be realistic about, like, if you're working as a freelancer or you're employed or you're building your business, because changing locations and establishing your routine in a new place, it's so time consuming and so energy draining that I don't know a single person who's traveling like full time and changing places frequently who can actually like achieve some success in their business. So what I would recommend is that if you want to travel often, if you want to change places and see the world, make sure that you have like a stable revenue stream. It's either a long-term project with the client which you already know, or your business is already up and running, or travel slowly, like Ole, for example. Choose a place where you feel you're empowered, choose the place where you like your routine, stay there for a few months, meet the people, and then move on if you want to. So this would be my recommendation.
Now, Gleb wasn't the only legend I met in Bali this year. Let me introduce you to the crew behind one of the most powerful chapters of this year. This is Harry. I met Harry randomly at the entrepreneurial event in Bali. We got to talking and instantly connected over surfing and foiling. A few days later, he told me he knew a spot in Bali where you could go foiling, and I didn't hesitate. I just knew I needed to hang out with this guy. It turns out, Harry has been running his own online business for years. He'd been traveling a ton and was actually looking for a place to lock in, reset, and build. So I invited him to join me and Denis for Hacker House 3.0. We booked an Airbnb together, and what followed was one of the most dialed-in months of my entire year. For context, we call these Airbnbs hacker houses because that's exactly what they become. Laptops everywhere, whiteboards, post-its, deep work blocks, surf breaks, gym sessions, brainstorms, and sometimes ice baths. Everything is optimized for locking in and growing in all areas. Harry didn't just bring surf energy to the crew, he brought structure. We trained together, brainstormed, built systems, and dove into content. And that's when Jason came into the picture. Jason was actually one of the hosts at the event where I first met Harry. He's a filmmaker and a master at his craft. So we actually booked in Jason for a full day of shooting. But this wasn't just about filming cool B-roll. He took us deep behind the scenes of what it takes to make cinematic, story-driven content that actually connects. That day lit a fire. Suddenly, we weren't just talking about building personal brands, we were actually doing it together. And I'll be honest, filming in public, it's extremely uncomfortable. But doing it with your friends, with people who get it, it turns the whole thing into an adventure. And this crew, Denis, Harry, and myself, the energy we created, that's something you don't find just anywhere. Let me take you inside Hacker House 3.0, probably one of the absolute highlights of my year in Bali. Just get a quick feel and like a hiring process really quick. Is we just do 30-second video intro trial, so we don't get it.
It's because I have different credit cards on each.
Do I want to get banned?
It doesn't get banned, it's more like there's a suspicion.
What do you feel? Just eat and then dessert. 5 full-time. It's more than enough for the kind of type of company I want to run.
Boys, getting in the work on a Friday afternoon.
Always welcoming there.
Oh, he's just scrolling.
Bro, I'm sending it. Get the full context.
Putting in some work Friday afternoon.
In Sanur, we're gonna try to learn how to foil today, so let's see how that goes. Kinda nervous, because if you fall on the foil you can get hurt. But I guess if you want to learn something new, that's just part of the game, so
If we can learn to foil, that would open up a whole new world of potential surf spots.
Especially because you're used to surfing. This is completely different. Instead of front foot pressure, you have now back foot pressure, you have front foot pressure instead.
Here we go. Foil attempt number 1. We're just warming up and then we're gonna do the foil after.
Foiling day 1. He's getting cocky now. Oh, come on. Yeah, there.
That was fun. First try, got up.
Out of the way!
Cruising, it's cruising. Yeah. Foiling, part 2. We have gone down in size drastically today. This was the board we had last time. It's going. And now it's this thing.
Wow, that's a bit more difficult.
It's a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
Just do it, this make a little bit space.
We're up riding now. Monday morning. It's chilling. All right, we made it.
Oh, this is good.
Don't pump.
Chill. You fucking did it, mate. Bro, you don't need to pump. I think you could just chill.
Now, what this year in Bali really taught me is that even though I often feel like I'm not doing enough, not working hard enough, and that I'm still so far away from where I want to be, it's very easy to get lost in all of that, to get so focused on growth, progress, and success that I forget what truly matters. I am, after all, very ambitious, and I really want to have a big impact, and that fire will never go away. But if I want to carry that fire for years, I need to build my life on what actually gives it fuel. When I drew that pyramid on a plane on the way to Bali this year, I don't know exactly where it came from, but it felt like something that was meant for me, something deeper. And in the corners of that foundation, there were 2 things: connection and fun. And the more I think about it, the more I realize that constantly chasing the top, the peak performance and self-mastery, doesn't matter at all if I forget about those 2 things. Because that top of the pyramid, it's just a byproduct, a result of living in line with what actually matters. And I know that this journey I'm on, it's extremely long and it's gonna take time. But what I also know is this: if I have these people around me who help me be my best and who I can help be their best too, then I've already won. These are friendships I'll have for life. And that kind of brotherhood, you can't buy that. No level of monetary success will ever replace it. These are the people who celebrate with me when I'm up and are right there beside me when I'm down. And honestly, I really wish I could go back and tell all of this to the version of myself that started it all. That lonely kid grinding away in his apartment, thinking money would be the answer. Because in the end, it's not where you arrive, it's about who you brought with you.